Do you have a stack of journals full of your poetry that falls over every time you walk into your bedroom? You just kind of got a urge to see your work in paperback form? Or maybe you might just have that fire inside you to let the world hear you roar. If so, today this video is for you, and I will share with you my self-publishing journey, and hopefully it will save you a lot of headache and save you a lot of money. It all started, I won't go all the way back, we'll just go back to 2004, way back in the day. At that time, I had been posting my poetry on a poetry site, uh, allpoetry.com, which is still going strong today. Very beautiful community for writers and poets. And I got a lot of positive comments on my work, but there was always one that stuck out to me. And it was telling me that they really needed to hear that today. They needed to read that. Something that I created helped a complete stranger get through whatever it was they were going through that day. And that got my wheels turning in my head. And I just came to the decision of we're going to publish a book. And at that time, YouTube wasn't around. And bottom line is, I did absolutely no research whatsoever. But I just jumped on the internet and I came across a Vanity Press. I could only afford the basic package of getting my book in print. I sent them an idea. Well, it was a picture of one of my tattoos for the cover because I'm all about skulls. I dig skulls. I love skulls. And I mean, think about it. Everyone has one. Let's put that on a t-shirt. And they got the cover made for me and they got my first book in print. This is my first book ever printed and published. And I got it in my hands and I was happy. If I wanted it in a brick and mortar bookstore on a shelf somewhere, that's more money that I couldn't afford. That was a different package. If I wanted a promotion package, again, more money that I couldn't afford. I was content with the book in my hand. And getting a book published is kind of like getting a tattoo. Once you get one published, you got that itch to do another one. So in 2005, I went with the same company, the same package, and I got book number 2 published. And I really like this one because it's very strong messages in here, get you through your day. That was my second book I had published. And I still had that itch. And in 2008, I'm still with the same company. 2008, I had my third book published with them. And with all 3 books, I could only afford the initial package. So after I had all 3 of those published, I couldn't, I couldn't, it's like I almost lost steam because I couldn't afford anything else. All I could do was word of mouth. And I made up generic business cards that I was able to hand out to people on where they could go to get them. So after the third book was published, life and work started really heavy. So I basically went on a 17-year hiatus. And it was last year, my girlfriend said, "Hey." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "You think you could write a spicy version of Beauty and the Beast, like a little short story?" And I thought to myself, self, I could do that. So off I went on the adventure to write a short story. And I started it. And I got so far, and I'm like, I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on the structure and everything of a short story and all the info to get one written. So that's when I jumped down the YouTube rabbit hole. And as you know, that rabbit hole is pretty deep. So I'm watching all these videos on basically short story writing. And I kept hearing and seeing a lot of videos about self publishing and cover work and all that. And I got to thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, I could do a fourth book of poetry and bring the other first three along with it. So I went ahead and, I mean, because there's videos, they say that don't judge a book by its cover. Well, everyone knows it still has that urge to do it. So I came up with my title for the fourth book, and I came up with my idea for redoing the covers on the first three also. So it looked like one complete series. So I got a hold of a company called getcovers.com because they offered $35 per cover. And I sent them an idea for the first cover. And what they sent back was freaking awesome. It blew me away. It turned out better than I expected. And I liked it so much, I went ahead and gradually changed the color and the skull of the second one, third one, and the fourth one. So as I went along, the skull kept getting more damage to it. And you could really tell that it's from the same author. So I got the covers done. And just real quick, so I went from this guy to this one. And for the second one, I went from this one to this one. Oh, but wait, there's more. And the third book I originally had done was Roses and Blood, this guy. And I went to this. And even got my fourth book published, which stayed in tune with the other ones. So you could just look and you could tell it was all one series. So Get Covers, they did my brand new covers for the books. And now came the second step. Is that the second step? I don't know. I'm really bad at math. So since I am not too keen or computer savvy, I went with Word to Kindle, and I just needed them to format the interior of the book, and they formatted the covers for the paperback and the covers for the ebook. So they formatted the interior. I skipped an editor because the way I see it, that's poetry, and poetry, I hear Bruce Lee in my head. Be like water. I see poetry flows in any shape and style. And I didn't want to have a back and forth with an editor. That's the way I wrote it. That's the way I shaped it. Because if you put some poetry on paper, you could play with it and it'll make a shape. So I skipped the editor. I just went through it with a fine tooth comb for all my spelling and my punctuation. And Word to Kindle, they formatted everything. They took care of the page numbers and the table of contents. We had a little bit of back and forth for some adjustments and things that were really needed that completely got by me. And they turned out really good. With Get Covers and Word to Kindle, the people that I corresponded with, they were very helpful and they were very professional. Not pushy at all, but yeah, I love the whole experience. So they Word to Kindle went ahead and uploaded it for me, because if it was left up to me, I would have sent the files to Mars or some shit like that. So they took care of all that for me. And yeah, and that's where it was. And I feel much happier with all four of my books being on Amazon. And I was able to do covers, formatting, uploading. I was able to do 4 books, and some of them go over 90 pages. 4 books, all that basically roughly at the same price that I paid for 1 book at the Vanity Press that I went originally many years ago. And yeah, so if you want the world to hear you roar and you want to see your work in paperback, I for one would highly suggest, that's a suggestion, uh, suggest going the self-published route. This isn't a how-to video. This is not set in stone. It's a how I video, and hopefully, like I said before, it saves you from a lot of headaches and save you a lot of money. Hopefully, you're able to take a little bit of what I've said today, take what you could use, leave the rest, and hopefully that helps you out. If you feel like subscribing so you can keep tabs on me, awesome. If not, that's cool too. Feel free to stop by anytime and hang out and see what I got going on. And yes, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you very much.